In today's video, I want to share with you guys a free-to-play friendly team to farm the Goblin Lair Stage 3 and 3-star it every single time, without using any legendary champions, without using any crazy gear, and without using any legendary artifacts. Now, this is for Season 2, guys. The elemental affinity will be different in Season 1, so if you started playing recently, make note, it won't work for Season 1 as a 5-man elemental affinity. So we are on Goblin Lair 3. This is one of the most fun content for every single player in Dragonheir Silent Gods, guys, because this is the place from where we're getting the juice to level up our champions, basically, and the more you go into the season, the more of it you will need. Now, currently, I am on a test server, right? I have access to all the champions in the game, but I decided to go with this combo right here, mainly because I wanted to try a couple of champions as well, because I haven't really played them that much in the Goblin, and just generally, I haven't played Hollis much, and he's not scrolled. She's not scrolled either. I know one of the biggest issues that most of the players have is having scrolls for the epic champions, and this is something that I experienced quite a bit in Season 1. Since then, of course, I managed to scroll quite a few different epics, so I'm not feeling it as such a burden. Keep in mind, I'm a content creator, I'm not free to play, so it's a bit different for me, but I definitely feel the issue with the scrolls for epic champions. So we have Frerbart, who is scrolled. I would strongly suggest you, if you have him, just scroll him, no second thoughts. He's just too good. He has the Crown of the Unclean, but we're gonna go over the total stats in a second. Then we have Yola, aka Lolita. She has the Silver Star Horseshoe, but that's mainly just because of the actual stats, attack and crit damage. The actual extra bonus from the artifact doesn't really do much for her. We have Irina. She has the Volcanic Disc. Then we have Sigrid with the Eyeball of the Giant. I want her to pump as much damage as possible because she's kind of like the main DPS champion. And then we have Hollis with a Manticore statue. The reason for it, I didn't really have any other decent artifact to give him, okay? And he does have a nice AoE battle skill and a nice AoE ultimate skill, which cover pretty much the same range. So this makes him actually pretty good. Now, if you build him with some sort of accuracy, and if you would have him fully scrolled, he could potentially activate your Sigrid too with the chance of inflicting the poisons, So he's not a bad champion either. I actually tried him a bit last season in the World Boss, and he was performing pretty damn good, actually. And Earth to the Baller from Dungeons and Dragons. Now, I'm not using any food, guys. I have no food whatsoever. The good part here is that Lolita, she has a attack aura. 24%, so we can use that instead of the defense or anything else. I will give you guys a few different options if you don't have these champions in just a second, but let's actually jump in and do a run. So, Frerbart is actually going to tank a bit for us in here, because if you don't have a decent champion to tank, your DPS champions will get smashed, So you want to have a decent champion to tank. Is that a necessity to use Frerbart? You can use a different one from these two elemental affinities if you have it available. What I am planning to do, guys, is to make teams for all of the elemental affinities in the next few days and post different guides. So today we're doing poison and lightning. Maybe tomorrow, if I get a chance to do it, or in a few days, I'll be doing frost and radiance, and then I'll be doing fire and necrosis, trying to do it as budget as possible. I'm sure we can drop an epic champion from here and still do it, but I wanted to use these particular champions for this video because I tend to like them quite a bit. I'm a sim for Lolita, and I really wanted to try Hollis, But so far, we're looking pretty good. I feel like this should be the last wave, or we might have another one. No, that was actually the last wave, and we've done it in a pretty good time too. No food either, guys. Keep that in mind. 1 minute and 3 seconds. So the statistics, you see the damage from Hollis not scrolled, 20%. Lolita not scrolled, 20%. Then you have Irina, 28.2. She is a beast, guys. Irina, she is an absolute beast. Then you have Sigrid with 27.8. The thing with Sigrid is better if you have a elemental affinity combination with champions like Voresh or even Dane, so then they can constantly debuff the enemy and activate her ultimate skill more often. But either way, this is still a very solid team. You know, let's give it another go. If you would book the champions, scroll them, sorry, you would be able to smash it even better, you know. But there you go. We have Frerbart putting the decrease attack to activate Sigrid a bit more. Yola, she doesn't really have that much accuracy, honestly. I focus more on attack. The good part in Dragonheir Silent Gods is that you have the team preset, so if you want to build a team purely for the Goblin and you don't want to waste damage stats for accuracy because you don't need it. You don't need Sigrid to put decrease attack or heal reduction, you know? You just want her to pump as much damage as possible. The good part is that you can literally just create a preset for this and let them go ham, basically, you know? And then when you need accuracy on her for whatever dungeon, you just change to the other preset where she has a different build. I love this feature in Dragonheir. It's absolutely amazing. And I'm pretty convinced that every single one of you guys actually loves that. Okay, so this run is not as easy as the previous one. Seems like the wave got a bit closer to us, so we were a bit delayed to get to the actual wave. But still, we managed to smash it without a problem. And we have no food to give us increased attack or increased damage, basically, you know. Let me just quickly show you the builds on the characters. So right here, we have the very first one, which is Frerbart. So Frerbart has a epic Swift Shadow set, and we have two ancestral pieces. We have the Crown of the Unclean. These are his total stats. 59k HP, 3.8k defense, and I have 270 accuracy somehow. I'm not even sure how I got so much accuracy. Then we have Yola. Total stats on her, 34k HP, 4.1k attack, 93 crit, 131 crit damage. Of course, she has crit ray gloves, attack chest piece. Hollis, 4,600 attack, 34k HP, 80% crit rate, 128 crit damage, no accuracy. So because I don't need to give them accuracy, I can pump in more damage on them, guys, okay? Which makes my life easier. Then we have Irina. No accuracy on her either. She has 35k HP, 4.2k attack, 79 crit, 178 crit damage. And again, you see, none of the champions are in full legendary sets. They all have 2N, 2N. I try to go for crit rate, right? Like, that's what what people would do. They go for crit rate sets. They tend to be the best for nukers because they are enabling you to gain more crit rate. So having two crit rate sets, they give you already 30% crit rate without the substats, which is pretty massive. Then we have Sigrid, the Eyeball of the Giant, 41k HP, 4.6k attack, 86 crit rate, 139 crit damage, but no accuracy. So because I don't need to get accuracy, I can focus on more attack, basically, you know, which actually helps a lot. But let me just quickly show you a few different champions that could work as replacements if you don't have them. So if we go straight to the poison, so let's ignore the legendaries. Let's just say you don't have a Frerbart available. Garrett is actually a pretty decent replacement. He does bring attack penalty too. He does have a fairly decent range. He does have some sort of survivability integrated, so he's actually not bad. You know, he can do the job too if you don't have a Frerbart. I didn't really thought to use him, honestly. I just thought about him too late, basically, you know. So he's actually a good option. Theodore, unfortunately, he's not really doing so much AoE damage, and he doesn't hit hard enough. I'm not a big fan of him, you know. If we're talking about other rare champions, Dange can potentially be a decent option. He does have double AoE, but a smaller area. He can do some work too, though, and he can potentially activate Sigrid pretty well. But you want to maximize the damage, you know, and don't count only on Sigrid. Eli, another awesome champion. This doesn't do much, but the ultimate covers like the 3 tiles in front of him and triple hitter, you know, which deals pretty good damage overall. He does have an attack aura in all battles, so if you don't have Yola, for example, replace her with Eli, you know, because you're still gonna get an attack aura, which actually will boost your damage quite a bit. So definitely keep that in mind. He's a solid option. And other than that, not many solid options from here. If we're going at Lightning, again, the problem with them is that They have a lot of Dauntless heroes, right? Single target champions. And while they do have the potential to smash single target, and even the Goblin just killed them one by one, I'm not such a big fan of Dauntless for the Goblin guys, so I prefer to go with AoE champions preferably. Now let's just say you don't have any of the poison tanks from before. Naguk, he could potentially as well be a pretty decent one to get the job done. He does have this awesome static field, and he does have a chance to stun with it, you know. So it's not a bad champion to use as a tank. He will be able to survive without actually needing to heal, you know. Then you have Voltag. He actually lands quite a few debuffs too. He doesn't cover such a big area as a Furbart or even a Garrett, you know, or whatever was his name, the other epic tank. But he does a decent job if you don't have better options. Lydia can tank, but she's not that great. I'm not a big fan of Lydia. Nathaniel can be a tank instead if you don't have a Furbart or a different tank. The thing with him is that he brings you a decent shield, and it goes around him. He can stay alive without a problem. So I wouldn't necessarily worry about bringing a Furbart necessarily in here, you know. And then from the rest of the champions here, there are not many great rare lightning heroes that pump in a lot of damage that can be amazing. Like, I haven't really tried Ariaso, which is the Thunderbolt, but I don't really have high hopes for him either, you know. So that's kind of like what I would suggest you to use. Hopefully this was helpful, guys. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see guides for the Goblin Lair on the other elemental affinities too. If you want to, I will be making some videos in the near future. If you don't want to, I'll leave it here for the Goblin for this season. Appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Much love, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.